Imagine driving down a deserted country road, surrounded by darkness and silence. You come across a car engulfed in flames and a young woman lying on the ground with severe burns over 98% of her body. This was the tragic and brutal fate that befell Jessica Chambers. In December 2014, a small town was rocked by a brutal and senseless act of violence. Jessica Chambers was found near her burning car on a back road in Panola County, Mississippi, burned alive on the side of the road. Her death remains one of the most puzzling cases in recent history, making national headlines and is still unsolved to this day. Jessica Chambers was born on February 2nd, 1995 in Panola County, Mississippi to Ben and Lisa Chambers. She grew up in Courtland, a small town in Panola County, and attended South Panola High School. She had a difficult childhood, with her parents separating when she was young and her father being in and out of prison. As a teenager, she had some trouble with the law and was on probation for charges related to theft and drug possession. She had reconnected with her family and was spending time with her mother, father, and older brother Ben, who was tragically killed due to a fatal car accident in 2012. Despite these challenges, Jessica was determined to turn her life around. She had recently started working at a local department store and was doing well for herself. But on December 6, 2014, everything changed. On that fateful day, Jessica was seen at a gas station in Courtland, where she purchased gas and cigarettes. She was also seen on surveillance footage talking to someone in a car, but the identity of the person she was speaking to remains unknown. It was the last time she was seen alive. Later that evening, her car was found on fire on a back road in Panola County, about 3 miles from the gas station. Emergency services arrived to find Jessica lying on the ground beside the burning car. They found Jessica severely burned with severe second and third degree burns covering 98% of her body.
The 19-year-old and her car found engulfed in flames less than a mile or so away. It's a horrible story gaining national attention.
From New York to East Coast to West Coast, people I've never even heard a dream call me, and like Saturday night, they all gonna light a candle for my daughter.
They found gasoline on Jessica's body, leading them to believe that she was set on fire intentionally. Investigators were able to retrieve her cell phone, which had been badly damaged in the fire, but they were able to get some data from it. They discovered that Jessica had received a series of texts and phone calls before her death, which they believed may be related to her murder. The responding officers immediately called for an ambulance and began to assess the scene. They saw that Jessica's clothes had been burned off and she was in obvious distress. They tried to communicate with her to get information about what had happened, but she was barely able to speak due to the severity of her injuries. Jessica's car was still on fire when first responders arrived. The area was cornered off and investigators combed through the debris to try and find any evidence. They found several items of interest, including a cell phone, a knife, and a set of car keys. The level of violence and brutality was shocking, and it was clear that whoever had committed this crime had no regard for human life.
Chambers, 19 of Courtland, Mississippi, has been found with extensive burns following a car fire.
Jessica was rushed to a hospital in Memphis, Tennessee, where she was put into a medically induced coma. Unfortunately, Jessica's injuries were too severe and she passed away the next day. The cause of death was determined to be a combination of smoke inhalation and burns. The autopsy revealed that she had soot in her airways, indicating that she was alive when the fire was started. This led investigators to believe that Jessica's murder was intentional and that she was set on fire after she was attacked. As you can imagine, the authorities launched an intensive investigation to find out what happened to Jessica Chambers. They interviewed witnesses, reviewed CCTV footage, and collected evidence from the crime scene. They even set up a task force to look into the case. But despite all of their efforts, they were unable to solve the case.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Black all around here. Her nose cavities were black, sooty. Tongue was black, swollen, and
Safe to say she was in critical condition.
Yes.
The investigation into Jessica's murder was extensive and involved multiple law enforcement agencies, including the FBI. They conducted interviews with over 150 people, including friends, family members, and acquaintances of Jessica. They also analyzed DNA evidence, cell phone records, and surveillance footage. In 2016, 2 years after Jessica Chambers' death, a local man named Quentin Tellis, who had a criminal record and had been romantically involved with Jessica in the past, was arrested and charged with her murder. Tellis initially denied any involvement in the murder, but investigators soon learned that he had been with Jessica on the night of her death and had been in the same area where her car was found. However, during his first trial, a jury was unable to reach a verdict, and the case ended in a mistrial. In his second trial, Tellis was found not guilty, and the case remains unsolved.
You can't walk me. You gave, how much money did you give him?
Can't remember how it was. It wasn't no more than $10. $10. I said it wasn't no more. Probably $10 at the most.
Okay. Then you went back and got in the truck with all those dudes, 4 other dudes. You know, sitting there. Okay. All right, so she departs, she leaves M&M. And think about it. When did you call her or text her soon after that?
Can't remember. Probably did something, but I can't remember. I don't.
Let me ask you this. Did you go to baseball and get something to eat?
No, I went to bed so late on at night. I think I went and got nothing to eat.
This was earlier. You're talking about the time you went and got green dot, right? This is earlier.
No, I ain't go to time to get nothing to eat. I don't know, didn't man. Or later we went to no, we ain't go to time to get nothing to eat. Well, I did.
Did anybody else?
So what happened to Jessica Chambers? The truth is, we may never know. Her death remains one of the most mysterious and disturbing cases in recent history. Despite years of investigation and 2 trials, we still don't have a clear answer as to who killed her. Her family and friends are still searching for answers and hoping that one day justice will be served. Until then, we can only hope that the authorities will continue to work tirelessly to solve this case and bring closure to those who loved Jessica Chambers. May Jessica rest in peace, and may her memory be a blessing to all who knew her and to those who have been touched by her story.